and welcome to another episode of your friendly neighborhood comic book dude with your friendly neighborhood comic book dude. So, let's see. What do we have today? What do we have to talk about today? I don't know. What do we usually do here? Oh, we look at toys and collectibles and sometimes hardcovers, maybe comics, and we go in depth. You know, if I've got any fun insights to share on like the history of the company, I let you guys know about those. And then I break down the prices for you because I'm sure a lot of you guys are here just chomping at the bit to get these things because everything you see come across the screen is either for sale or, you know, was for sale but was sold. So, and you might ask yourself, wait a minute, if it's coming across the screen, how's it already sold? Well, one way to get a leg up on this video is I have a Patreon. It's a couple of tiers, but the easiest tier is $1 a month. Gets you 24-hour head start on anybody who's watching these videos, where I post the pictures to that Patreon, and you guys can like go to town and buy the stuff before it even hits the video. So then when I'm showing it to the YouTubers, you guys are like looking at the stuff, and secretly the item might already be sold. So that's one way to get a heads up. And then sort of a post heads up is if you watch the video and you're like, shoot, man, I missed all those other things. Is there any way I can still get this item or whatever he's got? There's always links to my Facebook where I do list things, and the very last stop for everything on the page is eBay, which is not my favorite place to sell items, but you know, I'd rather get into, you know, people's hands that, you know I make connections with just real people that are interested in things rather than faceless bidders. But you know, if it comes to that, the link for the eBay is there as well. I think it's time to start looking at some stuff. Where should we start? Should we go big first or go small? I don't know. Let's go small. So, I've shown you a couple of these over our many weeks together. In a sort of a refresher, I'm kind of treating this video as not a brand new video, or you know, like the start, the beginning, but sort of a jump on point for some people. So for anybody not familiar, there's a line of figures that had several iterations called Movie Maniacs. They come from McFarlane Toys, who, you know, are Lord and Savior, the Todd Father. He creator of Spawn and many other great independent items, went into the toy business. And the unique thing about these Movie Maniacs figures, especially the actual like action figures, I don't know if you can really see it, but there's like a little stand that comes behind them that's unique to these figures because they're like actual posters of what the movie looked like when the figure, or like when the movie first came out. So it's almost like you can stick the poster behind the action figure, and it's like as if they're coming right out of the poster. So that's kind of cool. And then like the frame that surrounds the poster is like an ornate, like, you know, series of like bones and skulls and things. It's just really cool. But you know, fortunately or unfortunately for buyers and or sellers of these, McFarlane Toys are, you know, with some exceptions, not worth a whole lot. McFarlane overproduces. There's a lot of their stuff out there, so while they're beautiful quality, they're readily easy to come by. Even like many years later, like these Movie Maniacs came out in 1998, so that's 22 years ago. I mean, there's a lot of things I've put up here that have come out in less time than that just because of scarcity, way higher. So so we got Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw. We got Freddy from Nightmare on Elm Street, and we got Jason. I think this Jason is specifically from Jason Goes to Hell, but you know, from any of the Friday the 13th, you can't go wrong. And actually, is this Freddy from a specific one? This one looks like he's OG. Now, because I already know this ahead of time, these two guys have already been sold by a Patreon buyer. So again, you know, somebody might be seeing this right now and like, oh man, I want that, and then I'm like dashing your hopes. So just remember, $1 a month, quarter a week, gets you 24-hour early access to these things. Leatherface, however, is still up for grabs. The most of these were going somewhere between the 25 and 35 range. I believe Leatherface is Where are you, Letty? Leatherface is $25. So relatively inexpensive, about the same as what you'd pay for a figure of this quality now, if not more. So, you know, you're not losing money. You're not like breaking the bank for something that you can't go into the store and buy now. So, just for anybody who's interested, Freddy was also 25, and Jason was a little more. He was about 35. I think because he was like that torn apart look specifically from Goes to Hell versus the other two, which are sort of like Leatherface looks the same in most of his movies. Freddy looks the same in most of his movies. So there be that. All right. Next, what do we have? All right. Let's get something huge. So look at that bad boy. Huge. Well, huge-ish. This is a Frankenstein from Mezco. They call it a mega scale figure. I think the only other mega scale figure that's come across the page and the group so far has been a Regan from The Exorcist, and even her box was not as ornate as this. This guy looks like the real deal. Like they were really giving Frankenstein the big time treatment on this box. Looks like there's others too from the back of that box I was showing you. There's also a mummy and a creature. Curious to see if we find those in Frank's collection here. But yeah, it's a unique brand to Mezco. It's like sort of cartoony but sort of not. Really don't know how to describe this, but it's cool. You know, wouldn't take up too much space, but still enough to notice him. Cool piece for any lover of Frankenstein, and he is, well, you know, he's $150. His middle or his low was like $120 for an open one and $175 for a sealed. So as always, I try to give you guys the benefit of the doubt by including those used prices in the average for the new items, because 99% of the time what I'm putting up is brand new or like opened but never been touched, so same as brand new. But for the purposes of getting these things into the hands of collectors, I like to factor in some of those lower prices to help make the average a little better. What's next? Where's this thing? Okay. I won't lie, this is something that's totally outside my realm of knowledge. This reminds me of early Image stuff, in the vein of like Witchblade or The Darkness, you know, Witchblade / like Top Cow, and this very well could have had like crossovers or things with that stuff. But so this is Darkchild from Randy Queen. This has got like 3 different people's names on it as far as like who made it. Like Randy Queen probably created her herself. And then we've got like Toy Fair / Wizard as like, you know, the name slapped on this. But on top of that, we've got More Action Collectibles, which makes me think that Toy Fair / Wizard like commissioned it, but More Action Collectibles made it. I really couldn't find much on this. I mean, price wise, it wasn't anything extravagant. Like for a loose one, it was like $5 for a sealed one. I found 31. I think she's gonna go for 18. Is about the average on that. So pretty inexpensive. I'm not sure if this thing was hard to come by. For a second there, I thought she was open. The seal looks open, but it's actually the piece of tape that's there is just like kind of migrated downward. But once whoever buys this gets it, they'll see the seal has technically never been broken on this. So this is as brand new as it gets. Let's see. Wow. So this next one really threw me for a loop. We've got ourselves a Hermione Granger from Harry Potter, Mattel. She's an action figure. I believe... I don't know if it says. I believe, though, based on what's on the back of this figure, this is a Chamber of Secrets version. I don't know how. I don't know why. You know, these are just like the mysteries that arise sometimes when you're pricing this. She is very expensive. The low for an opened one without her, like, accessories was $50. The high for a sealed one was $150. I mean, this one looks pretty minty. There's a couple of nicks on the plastic / the card, but you know, this is pretty stinking good for something that came out. Oh boy, what's our copyright date on this? I don't think we even have one, but I would say it came out shortly around the time after the Chamber of Secrets movie, because it's, you know, in the likeness of Emma Watson there. But yeah, so this is only for the faint of heart, Mattel, Hermione Granger, Harry Potter fans. Something a little less pricey, but also an action figure with a Build-A-Figure. We actually had the Captain America that was in the same series as this a week or two ago. And so I guess if you bought that, you know, this might be something that interests you because it's another piece of the same Build-A-Figure. So this is from Marvel Legends in the early year 2000s. This is actually the year I graduated from high school. It was 2007. So 13 years old. You know, Build-A-Figures are not a old concept. I mean, we're still getting them in this day and age. The Build-A-Figure for this one was the Brood Queen. And it looks like you get... This one is her tail. And there's like 8 pieces to build her, so that Caps is one of them, and then all these other figures on the back have got pieces of her. It's cool looking Bucky. I'm not sure how many Buckys we got in this exact vein where they like pulled it from the like old comics, but he also is relatively, you know, the same probably about what you would have paid for him. I mean, in the store he probably ran somewhere between 20 and 30, and the average that I found on this guy was 10 for a loose one and 47 for a brand new one. So 30 is about where we're gonna sit with this guy. So brand new, sealed, beautiful box. Yeah. So Bucky Barnes, if you want him, $30. What else? Next one. I find that older NECAs, you know, NECA action figures, tend to go for more. You know, at least somewhere in the range of like that Bucky that I just showed you. I don't know how, I don't know why. I always thought that this was a popular character, but I guess I could be wrong. I've got a Hit Girl here from Kick-Ass 2. I don't know, maybe the Kick-Ass 1 version is worth more. I don't know. I mean, like, the average I found for her was $10. Like, loose was 7, new was 15, so $10. I mean, I don't know if anybody out there is like a huge Hit Girl fan, but I mean, $10 seems like a steal for a NECA. That sounds like that's less than whatever the retail cost of this was, which couldn't have been less than $14.99. I don't know, but $10. $10 will be where she lives. She won't last long, I'm sure. The low-priced items never do. I had no idea there was such a great call for these things. I thought that maybe there were like higher quality versions out there, but maybe because it's NECA and it's like a reputable name, they go for more. Last week or the week before, we had a Jason mask from NECA, but it was specifically from the like the likeness was specifically from the 1989 NES video game. So like that thing was going for like $200 and did in fact sell for such. And I was like, okay, this is a one-off, you know, this is the NES Jason, you know, they're not all going to be like that if I find more of these. So I did in fact find another one this week, and again, they're still pricey. So this is a Jason NECA mask from Friday the 13th 5, A New Beginning. I feel like most of them have roughly the same mask. I mean, they always tweak it a little, you know, you see marks in different places, and that may very well be part of what draws people into them, because they want to have every single different iteration in the way that somebody wants to have every like variant of a pop. Yeah, this guy's going for $150. I mean, just straight up, it like didn't make much sense to me, but if that's what the general public feels these things are worth, man, I can't argue with you guys, so that's what we are going to put him up for. Oh. So, there is a Jason. What is next? So this one is definitely an oddity for the collection so far. I know the owner had a particular proclivity towards like animals. He had a long-standing donation to like the World Wildlife Fund and things like that. So this might have just like piqued his interest because of his love of animals. I for up till now have not really found anything collectible wise like that. Some of them are like personal pieces or like statues or things, but not like collectible ones like maybe things that you'd find in like a knick-knack store. But this one, I mean, is from a film. It's sealed. It's a toy technically. This is from the movie Dreamer, which is inspired by a true story. Doesn't say on the box, but I'm almost positive that the girl in question is Dakota Fanning. Feel free to correct me or confirm for me. It's from Breyer, which we've never had anything from, which again, leads me to believe they're more of a Barbie, replica type company. Like they're making these things targeted at a specific audience. So the piece itself is about 15 years old. I really couldn't find anything for it. I mean, there's a little bit of box damage. I think that a fair price to ask for this would be the same thing as that Hit Girl. Although, again, I felt like she was a little bit under what she should be. So this is going to be $10. So if somebody comes across this and they're buying some other stuff from me, and maybe they got a little girl, and they're just like, oh wow, $10 just to throw this in the box? Cool. Yeah, feel free. Not particularly valuable, but it might be of interest to someone. Next, we got a little bit of a throwback because I know I've had this figure at one point before, and as I've mentioned to you guys before, doubles are not out the realm of possibility when it comes to the collection here. This one here is the cloth Leatherface figure from the original Texas Chainsaw. The one thing I'll point out is, while the item has never been opened, if you're the type of person who cares about how the box looks, I mean, if you're not opening this up to display it, it may or may not affect your desirability of this item. But there's definitely some like crunches in the plastic. Again, there's no full-blown like breaks into the item. Like the item looks untouched. If there was any holes or anything, it would have like caused like dust to seep in, and the figure would be covered. But aesthetically, it doesn't look the greatest if you're looking to display it in the package still. That being said, I found this thing loose for 43 and as high as 90 sealed. And I felt that because of the box damage, this is going to be one of those items where I'm going to discount it less than what is out there on the open market. Somebody might be like, damn, I'm just going to rip this thing and open it, and it's going to be better than a loose figure that I could buy. And if that's the case, then, great deal for you. We're going to put this guy up at 40. I think that's a fair price. That's less than a loose opened one. So, I mean, even though the box isn't pretty, it's still mint in the box. So, just something to keep in mind. Yeah, these cloth NECAs always go for more. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just like a desirability of the cloth. Couldn't tell you. Ooh, hold on. Wait a minute. Come on, baby. Got a little guest trying to sneak her way into the video. Star-Lord. It's my cat Star-Lord for anybody who's never seen her. Come on. Alright. Where were we? Alright. So, the next in our line of our lovely DC Directs that I try to bring you at least one of every week, this is the 80s style Catwoman with like the purple outfit. This one was also like the similar version to what they used in the Batman Year One story, although albeit that one didn't look as good. They like kind of cleaned her up over time and like gave her this like mix between like what she looked like in the movie versus animated series versus throwing some purple on it. I mean, even though like she predated all those, if anything, maybe they took from this. Yeah, I mean, she sort of got like a like a Eartha Kitt vibe from the original Batman, like a good girl looking outfit, but obviously the demeanor didn't match with how much crap she gave Batman. So, um, but yeah, these DC directs are usually right around somewhere between like the 70 and 100 range. This one loose was about 53, and um, new is 100, and seal's still intact. So bottom one too. So we're gonna call her $75. About average for these things. I also don't know what these retailed for, but I can't imagine it was had to have been somewhere between 50 and 100, maybe even 100. I don't know. So, but there's that. The next thing, wow, this is a real fun one for me because for some weird reason, this is considered an action figure. All right, cool piece. I mean, Jaws has always been, a favorite of many. But on the side, right there, put it real close for you to see. Great white shark action figure with movable jaw-biting action. I mean, I guess if that's the definition of an action figure that meets those qualifications. And he also looks better than all the other reaction figures in this series because he actually just straight up looks like a shark, and they look like big Legos. But that being said, this guy's kind of pricey. I don't know if it's because he's Funko slash X Super 7. I don't know if it's because he's mint in the box. I could not tell you. I don't know if it's because it's from a while ago. When did this guy come out? It's actually 5 years old. But in Funko time, that could be like light years because those things get made and then they get vaulted and then so. His low for an open one was $64, and the high for a sealed one was $200. So that puts us at right about $130. Pricier piece, but honestly, it looks great. It's never been opened. The card is beautiful. Even the little spot where like you would punch the little thing to like hang it on a rack is still like totally intact. So it's never been like displayed like in a store or anything. Beautiful looking. So, yep, 130 is where he's gonna live. Oh boy! All right, some more big pieces. This guy is always like secretly popular. I don't know why. Seal is broken, but I believe it was only to check the item because again, in Frank's collection, he bought things to either display or keep sealed. Neither. It wasn't like one or the other. So if this was opened, it was opened by the comic book store that he bought it from, which is my comic book store, and I can tell you that our only reasoning behind ever opening pieces is to check for damage, because the window for reporting them damage to the distributor is like razor thin. So if you open it, you check it, and you ensure that it's all good, then you can get a replacement. Unfortunately for some people, that's a no-no. Oh God, you opened my figure, it's not in the box anymore. I get it, I really do. It's a real devil's advocate situation, because the alternative is if 50 years from now you open it and the thing was broken in the box, you're SOL. So, but this guy's pretty cool. Honestly, he looks more like a display model anyway. And he's another one in that like series of like Mezco Mega Scales. He's real cute. Never seen this movie, but I always see kids dressing up as Santa from Trick or Treat. So I know there's interest out there for this. Another thing that may or may not like lean this more towards like a person who'd be displaying it versus like keeping it boxed is there is a nice little nick on the outside of the box. Doesn't like break through or anything, but cosmetically that will bother some people. So this guy is between 65 and 112. I went right in the middle on that with 85. Actually, the 85 might even be closer to the lower end than it is to the higher end, but There's nothing wrong with this. Granted, there is some cosmetic stuff, but I don't feel that this is as bad as, like, say, that Leatherface I showed you guys. And this will be great for any lover of this. $85 is not bad at all, especially compared to the fact that, like, Frankenstein was 150, and I bet this is more popular with the kids right now than Frankenstein is. I could be wrong, but okay. This guy. So I've given you guys a couple of these Spencer's 18-inchers, and I keep finding more. So I keep saying, like, all right, another one for the videos. This is the Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt. Beautiful looking box. I love this. I love the imagery. It is a limited number by definition, although the actual limited number is still pretty high compared to some things I've shown you guys. They made 30,000 of these. They are numbered, and this one is 2609 of 30,000. So, as far as low numbers go, I mean, that is, by the percentages is relatively low compared to some things. He does have sound. I'm being very ginger to not use it because, this guy is from 1998, so I would imagine if one would want to keep using his sound, it would probably require a battery change. So I don't want to be the one to, like, run him out, like, showing you guys. But he does make sound. It's kind of quiet now. But beautiful piece. Never opened. Seals are definitely still good on him. And he's gonna sit at a nice cool 100. His low was 65. His high was 150. 100 seems like the right number for this guy. So beautiful piece. Likeness is wonderful. I wish more companies had done, like, pieces like this, but what are you gonna do? Okay, next item. This item, also, like some of our earlier pieces, has already sold. So I know it feels kind of like a na to show it to you, but it's just sort of help light the fire under your butts to know that there are ways that you cannot miss out on these items if you take a skosh of faith in me and believe in the Patreon and the channel I'm building. So this is a beautiful NECA box set of Freddy vs. Jason, right, pulled from the movie. The fire is literally the dock scene from the end there where they're, like, fighting at Camp Crystal. It's a beautiful piece. I'm kind of shocked that it wasn't going for as much as it was. Somebody told me recently that one of these other box sets that I sold, it was like a Loomis, Dr. Loomis and Michael Myers. I mean, the price that I sold it for was still pretty high. It was $250. And in some of the horror groups, people were like, you can sell that thing for as high as $400. Unfortunately, that may be what past instances have sold for, but all I can go by is what people are currently paying, because maybe when it sold for $400, we weren't in a global pandemic. Maybe funds weren't in the same, maybe people had more dispensable income at that point. I don't know. That may be why this thing is only going for, or only went for, $90. So, but it has already been purchased. It will be packaged and going to its forever home after this video. But again, there are ways to catch these things before they sell. Is the moral of the story. Oh, what's next? There's a cool little piece that was sort of in the same vein of had like a Flash action figure a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago. It's like him and the cosmic treadmill, and it was like almost like a little scene out of, like, the Silver Age. And this one is sort of no exception to that. So you get Silver Age, Superboy, and Supergirl, and you also get their pets, Crypto and Streaky. And it looks like it even comes with a Smallville billboard. So it's almost like you could pose them all in front of it, and it would look like a photo op. I mean, it's kind of cool. And it's, not that pricey compared to everything you're getting with this, and considering the age of the item. Which I can't actually confirm what the age is, but they're not making these now. I've not seen anything like this in the Diamond catalog for several years, so, maybe 2015 or earlier. And price-wise, it looks like this was between 23 and 80. So $50. $50 is where this is gonna go. But yeah, cool little piece if you're a fan of like older DC stuff. And it looks like there's some pretty cool other ones on the back here that we'll come across sooner or later, like Darkseid or Lobo or some of those things. And I know exactly where this is, and I know that there's a whole pile of other DC ones underneath it. So fair bet you'll see those in the future. My favorite things to show off. The Bowens. The Bowens are slowly becoming the most expensive thing that I sell to you guys. So, we got ourselves a Scarlet Witch from Bowen. Beautiful piece. Another Tim Miller masterpiece. And it is number 503 out of 850. These Bowens, man, they just always pricey. I mean, like, I don't know. The only thing about this one that you gotta, I'm always full disclosure with you guys. There are 2 spots on the box where there's some fading. So there's some there, and there's some there. This actually, when I first pulled this, I pulled it from this side, and I started to think to myself, I'm like, wait a minute, is she like Invisible Woman? Is she like going invisible? Is she using her hex powers to make herself different? And I realized that based on where this statue had been, the sun had got added a little. Not the actual statue, the box. So that affects that. I don't know if that matters to the people buying it. I mean, it has no effect on the statue. The statue's still in its styrofoam. We can check and see right now if she's sealed or not. She is not, but she's got a thick layer of not cardboard, styrofoam between her and the box and whatever the sun was doing. And honestly, unless there's a yellow mark on the styrofoam, it means the sun never got past it. Which side would it have been? It would have been on this side. No yellow marks except for the tape, which is normal for that. So the statue is unaffected. But yeah, just a box discoloration just based on some sunlight. So her low was 220 and her high was 300. I had 260 written, but I think we're gonna chop off $10 for the discoloration just in case that really bothers anybody. We're gonna make her 250. Again, at the end of the day, that's really just a box. It has no bearing on the figure, and unfortunately, if this were like a debate match, my argument would be buy another box because some people sell loose boxes out there, and you're purchasing the figure, not the box. But again, I do recognize that bothers some people, so give some consideration for that. We've got another Bowen, and this guy is pricey. This one was not hit by sun damage, but this is a beautiful Spider-Man, and he's called the Classic Museum version. He was sculpted by Larry Malott. He is number 512 of 1300, still relatively low number. This guy is wow. So I legitimately found one sale for this. I haven't found multiples. Only one sold, and it sold for $470. That's not a lot to compare against. So myself and the owner kind of talked it over, and we felt that $400 would be a fair price given the average is $470 plus 0 is still $470. But yeah, wow. This guy must be scarce, or people are just not letting him go. He looks really cool as far as Spider-Man goes. Like, I can honestly imagine a cover with him, like having seen him like this at some point, but I couldn't tell you the issue. They don't say that it's from one, but he probably is from one. But yeah, that's Spidey from the Bowens. Next pieces. Time to cool down our numbers a little bit. Next we got here a Mary Shazam. Similar to the one you might have seen in the movie if you saw that. It's a DC Direct. It's probably not super old. Maybe 10 years max. but she comes with a little stand and everything too. Um, I actually couldn't find any of these sold, to be honest with you. There's some some like card warping on this, and looks like the plastic is starting to peel off. This is another one of those, no price found, and this is probably cheaper than what you would have paid for it in 100% pristine condition retail. We're gonna go with $10 on Mary. Seems like a fair price. I don't know that one would want to display her in this type of condition, but she's definitely good if you want to crack her open and pop her around the stand. So, next, I don't know if we've had this iteration of it before. I've had so many boxed book NECAs over the last 20 weeks. I've started to lose track. I know this is not one of the cloth ones though. This is a Pennywise based on the Tim Curry version, but it's in like that NECA. It's in that NECA style, like with the, it almost looks like it could be a book or a big movie case that you can slide on a bookshelf. Date, we have none to go against, but these have been in circulation for several years. This guy's low is 10 and as high as 40, so $25 seems fair. It's about what you would pay if you found them at Target, and I don't know. I would imagine that this one is not in circulation anymore. Still sealed too, so that's a plus. $25 for the Tim Curry. I haven't watched that one in a long time. I should really rewatch that and see what the comparisons are between the two. Boy, we did not have enough Leatherface already today, right? We had the same figure a few weeks ago, and he did sell. He actually sold for higher at the time, but I guess if anybody was holding out, now's the time to do it again, because or not hold out again, but to bite the bullet now, because I think when we sold him the first time he went for 85, and the market value over a few weeks he's even less than then. So he's going for about 55 now. It's Movie Maniacs Series 7 from McFarlane. He's about 12 inches, I would say. I don't know if it says. Yeah, 12-inch scale, yep. And this is the remake version, just for anybody that can't tell by looking at it. The like packaging on the box is from the newer movie. But yeah, the I just realized this now too. The high end on this statue is 85, which is probably the one that I sold, and then the low end on a loose one is 29. So $55 for anybody who wants the second one. Oh boy. Ooh, here's a cool one. We've had a couple of figures like this. They're like femme fatale figures from Diamond. This one isn't a femme fatale per se, but she's same kind of design, same company. They're like Diamond Gallery series figures. We got ourselves a Jean Grey as the Phoenix. Beautiful piece. Fire and everything. Yep. So. Yeah. She's not that pricey though. These Diamond Gallery ones never usually are. Like, I've bought a few. I've got a couple. Usually like in the 60-70 range. This one was between 25 and 60, so it's 45. But yeah, cool piece. As we near the end, what do we got left? This definitely feels like a deep discount. So Marvel Select, a subsidiary of Diamond Select, or more appropriately, Marvel Select is like a specific imprint of their action figures from Diamond. This looks like a generic Black Widow from the comics. There's nothing wrong with her. Beautiful piece. And with the movie coming up, you'd think something like this would be going for more, but I don't know if it's just they mass-produce this. It's easy to come by. I couldn't tell you. But I know these things retailed for 25 or higher, depending on nowadays. They might have gone up a little. This was definitely 25 when it came out, though. I may have even sold this to Frank. But this is going for about $12 now. So $12 is what you gotta pay. comic related item and we'll end with some horror. So we had a few weeks ago, it was like a 7-piece figure set from a DC Direct. It was a Justice Society set of figures. So this one is also from DC, but it's specifically the Metal Men. So it's all the Metal Men, and I believe they're like professor slash creator. The heck is his name? Dr. Will Magnus. But yeah, you've got iron, lead, platinum, tin, gold, and mercury. And no, that's not just from my extensive knowledge of the figures. I was reading the back. But I mean, these sets are cool. Definitely for like niche fans of these things. And price wise, it's not anything too crazy. The low was 33, the high was 63. So I think technically the average on that would be 48. I think we're gonna go with a nice round 45 though. So if you're a fan of the Metal Men, here's a way to get your hands on some of them. Let's see here, and then the last two things I got for you guys today. There's a little bit of a before and after picture here. So I got two Sideshow figures for you. The first, if you don't recognize him because he's not all burned to death, is the Springwood Slasher himself, Freddy Krueger. But this is before his death. But he's got his claws and his jacket and his vest and his like intent to do ill to your children eyes. So, yep. And then, you know, if you feel like posing them next to each other, if you want to get both, I've got Nightmare on Elm Street Freddy. How he looks after the burns and the things, but still with the claws and the sweater and the intent for children in his eyes. So, got these two bad boys next to each other. Their prices are a little bit different. Freddy is 100, and Springwood Slasher Freddy is 130. And I think the big reason for that is there are many Freddy sideshows out there. There, I believe, is only one of him without the, like, you know, where he looks like Robert Englund. So, and they did this for the Freddy vs. Jason movie, like with the flashbacks and stuff. It's pretty cool. But yeah. So yeah, again, that was 130 for Springwood Slasher Freddy, and then regular was 100. But yeah, other than that, that's what I got for you guys today. Normal YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for the notifications. I'm also going to put out, I want to say tomorrow, I got an exclusive preview for a new graphic novel that's coming out through Diamond Comics. I believe it's also pre-orderable on Amazon. I'll be going through like a 5-page preview of that with you guys. It's an all-ages title, so for anybody who's got kids and stuff, it's definitely like a kid-friendly book. You know, watch out for that on the page, and I'll spam that everywhere because I really want, you know, I know the guys who did the book. They're local guys who are getting a little bigger, finally getting into the Diamond publishing realm. So I really want them to succeed, and I really want people like you guys watching to enjoy them. So I will catch you guys next time.